Good afternoon, everybody. Bear with me a minute, please. Okay, great. I'm live. I'm excited to join you all today for a very spontaneous pop-up masterclass. I always like to have a little bit of music at the beginning because otherwise it can be this very awkward, am I live? Am I not live? Is it streaming? Where am I? So yeah, we can listen to this super sexy song for another couple of seconds and then we can get started. All righty. I'm excited to talk to you about a really interesting, amazing topic today. Oh, that's good timing. There we go. May as well pause that. Just let me get my stuff sorted. I can see that I'm live. Beautiful. Okay, cool. Hello. Super spontaneous pop-up masterclass today. Before I dive into the juicy topic that I have for you today, I wanted to just quickly introduce myself. I've had lots of people recently join my profile, kind of enter into my vortex. So I'll do a little introduction for those of you who don't know who I am. My name is Tash Ashwin. I live in Newcastle in Australia, a couple of hours north of Sydney, and I'm the CEO and founder of Ashwin Publishing. So I support female entrepreneurs, male entrepreneurs, all sorts of amazing entrepreneurs to share their story on the global stage through the works of publishing, through coaching, through mentoring, through all sorts of different mediums. But really my, I guess, mission is to help people to share their story, to raise their voice, and to be seen in a much bigger way, in a much bigger scale. So that's what I want to talk to you about today, in a nutshell, is how to shift from feeling like you're the world's best kept secret to actually being on the global stage, being a global movement maker. Now, I personally have been through this journey on a number of different levels. And I work with a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs who come to me saying that, you know, the work they facilitate is truly life-changing. They know that they are a genius at what they do. However, they feel stagnant in their visibility, stagnant in their reach. It's almost like the same people keep cycling in and out of their life, in and out of their business, in and out of their therapy work or their coaching work or their mentoring or whatever it is that they do. And this was my journey as well, my story as well. And I know firsthand the frustration that can come with, in some cases, dedicating decades of your life to learning and finessing your craft or your practice or your modality or whatever it is that you do, that you facilitate in the world, the juicy magic that you're here to bring to the planet, your soul's work, and feeling like you are at a stagnant point, like you're at a point in your business, in your life where you just can't seem to get beyond. We call this an upper limit, right? All sorts of different ways upon which we actually, you know, refer to that. I'm just getting messages coming in. Bear with me a sec. Okay, cool. So yeah, I know this feeling super well. I've been there. I coach many people. I have coached many people through this limit, right? This upper limit that we get to. And it's almost like we all seem to go through that. The reason being because for a lot of my clients and a lot of my authors, they are at a precipice in their business where they feel like, you know, they've taken things to a certain point. They're pretty comfortable at that point. They are comfortably serving a select amount of people. They are comfortably earning a select amount of money where their nervous system isn't necessarily challenged. And from the inner work perspective, this is absolutely our subconscious keeping us in the safe zone. We're going to talk about this today, keeping us in the safe zone, right? But often business, and especially true if this is like your soul's work, if you're in the world of soulful entrepreneurialism, your business is one of your most incredible, the most incredible ways upon which your soul actually develops upon your growth journey. So this point that many people get to in their business or in their career is defined, usually it's like just before a big quantum leap, right? Where we look around, we realize the frustration that comes with knowing that your work changes lives, knowing that you have phenomenal results, you have amazing client testimonials, but you just can't seem to get beyond the limit that you're at. So we're going to talk about how to shift out of that and how to shift into the global stage, how to actually claim more presence and potency with your brand in the online space, in the global space, and how you can use how you can use publishing and books to help you get there. So I'm going to be sharing with you a step-by-step framework that I've developed that very much is a holistic approach to ensuring that as you expand in your reach, as you expand in your visibility, as you learn how to leverage the power of your story and the things that make you unique, that your nervous system expands, your subconscious expands at the same time, and that the growth that you make inside of your business is wholeheartedly supported by your body. I wholeheartedly believe, being an energetic therapist, being a hypnotherapist, working in the energetic realms, as well as the strategic realms, as well as the publishing realms, that the body is such an important barometer of your success. So the nervous system, the way upon which your energetics are acclimating to big visibility, the way your subconscious mind either is on board with your big goals and your dreams, or it's working against you. There's so many different layers to this, and we're going to kind of touch the surface of this framework that I've developed. And at the end of this pop-up masterclass, I'm going to share with you how you can actually take this work, how you can take this framework that I've developed, and you can run with it either on your own, or I would love to invite you into an amazing collaborative book project. I'm going to talk more about that at the end, where I will hold your hand. You'll be surrounded by a group of amazing people who will support each other as we go through this process. So as you're jumping in, say hi, please pop hashtag live if you're here, or hashtag replay. I'd love to know where in the world you're joining me from. Like I said, I'm in Newcastle in Australia. It is a kind of overcast but humid day today. So I have my fan on. Hopefully it's not too loud. You won't need to see me sweating. And yeah, let me know where you're joining me from. I think I saw Mona. Hey, Mona. Great to see you here. Mona is in the United States, I know. I think up in upstate New York. Welcome, my love. Great to see you. Okay, so yeah, live in the US. Hi. So yeah, and also let us know as we go through this process. I'd love to know, who are you? What do you do? What is your business? What is the soul mission that you're here to facilitate upon the planet at this precise point in history? The people that are kind of attracted to my vortex are very much soulful entrepreneurs. The work they do in their business is their soul's work. They literally can't see themselves doing anything else. It is this, the work that they do, it is this, like for their lifetime, right? And so this is why it can be like the struggle that we can feel, the challenge that we can feel when we have this, when we reach this point in our business, in our career, where we are at a plateau, right? Where like we feel like the world's best kept secret, knowing that this is what I'm here to do. This is my soul's mission. This is the work that potentially I've done in many lifetimes. It may be like in the ancestral DNA. A lot of the people that I work with feel this to their core. And so they have a lot riding on it, right? Riding on them getting their work out there and taking it to the global stage. So I wanted to share with you some of the really important things that we need to understand and the shifts that we need to make in order to actually shift from best kept secret to global movement maker, because there's a number of big things that have to happen along the way. The first thing that I'm going to talk about, and this is one of my most favorite topics, is the importance of doing the inner work to lay the foundation upon which your visibility is going to sit on top of. So what do I mean by that? In the body, right, we have the nervous system. And the nervous system is designed to keep us safe, right? It's connected very much to the brain, to the mammalian part of the brain, to the amygdala. And if we're not really working at the nervous system level to ensure that the big goals that we're setting for ourselves in our business, to ensure that our nervous system is aligned and on board with that, what happens is we end up going into spiral after spiral, or backlash after backlash. We also hear this term sabotage kick in as well, right? Where we can like self-sabotage our success. The reason why I believe business is one of the most incredible personal development journeys you can do, it's up there with motherhood and relationships and, you know, becoming a parent, is because your success is often very directly connected to the level of safety you feel in your body. Your success is very much connected, and it has a direct correlation to the inner work that you do. Are you taking yourself on? And you will know whether you are or you're not. If you can last in business, you usually need to go through these processes, right? Of looking at your conditioning, of healing the nervous system, of like really doing the inner work, the subconscious work to get your whole body online with and on board with the goals that you're setting. So what happens in this regard, if we're not doing the work at the nervous system level or at the subconscious level, is that the most powerful belief will overrule, right? Whether or not this is conscious or not doesn't matter. So if you set a goal in your business that says, you know, I would love to experience international publicity. I would love to be making 50K months. I would love to be being featured all over the place and, you know, appearing on podcasts, appearing on summits, getting my work out there to the global masses. But you have a belief, a subconscious belief, either subconsciously or locked in your nervous system that says visibility is scary. And if I'm going to put myself out there, if I'm going to share myself, if I'm going to pull down the veils, then I might be taken down. I might be annihilated. I might be, insert whatever the belief is here. If that belief is stronger, even if it's subconscious, it's going to overrule. So the subconscious mind is 90% of your brain power. It's more, actually. The conscious mind, that which we consciously think, is a very, very small fraction of the capacity that your brain actually has. So you'll learn pretty quickly as you start testing the waters inside your business, as you start being more visible on social media, as you start being more vulnerable and sharing of yourself and, you know, like pulling back the layers and pulling off the masks and really taking people into your world, how safe that feels for you to do so or not. This is where I always begin with my people, with my authors, with my clients, because we cannot build solid business and we cannot like build a solid strategy on top of wonky foundations. So the way I look at it is that you have your mindset and you have your energetics, the nervous system, the subconscious, your conditioning, your programming, right? Your traumas in the past that either you've healed and integrated or pushed down into your body, and the way upon which you've, you know, like what you've made those traumas mean about yourself, about the nature of the world, about the nature of source, God, the divine, about the nature of success. And all of this locks together to form the foundations upon which you build your business and you build your strategy. Now, if you are comfortable with those foundations, if you've done the work to ensure that those foundations, the mindset, the energetics, lock together in a really solid, powerful way, then the strategy upon which you build your business is going to flourish, right? But if, however, you've done a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but you haven't really gone to those depths, you haven't really healed and integrated those traumas, you haven't looked at what wealth, visibility, success, what that actually means in your nervous system, what it actually means in your ancestry, if you haven't looked at that, then the foundations are wonky, right? The foundations are soft. And what happens when we build upon a soft foundation? When we build a house on sand, what happens? It falls down. So always, 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 I begin at this place, looking at the foundations, looking at the nervous system, looking at the mindset, looking at the energetics, and looking at the belief systems. So one of the things when it comes to becoming a global movement maker, we have to look at visibility. Does it feel safe to actually claim your place on the global stage? Does it feel safe to claim your brilliance, to claim your genius, to call yourself an expert in your field, to call yourself a thought leader? And a really great way that you can check this is if I'm going to take you through a little process. So hopefully if you're driving or anything like that, don't do this. But what I want you to do is I want you to just close your eyes and I want you to sit back in your chair or take a seat if you're standing, and I want you to take a big deep breath. I want you to imagine that behind your eyes is a movie screen. And on that movie screen is a movie of you. And in this movie, you are backstage and you're about to be interviewed by Oprah. You're about to be interviewed by Oprah. And behind those cameras, you can see the audience of a few hundred or a few thousand. And behind the audience, you're very consciously aware of the fact that there are millions upon millions of people tuning in to this interview right now. And so imagine in this movie, you see yourself, you exit the backstage, you walk out onto the stage, the lights are in your face, you've done up to the nines, and you sit down with Oprah, and millions of people are watching you talk about how amazing you are at what you do. Talk about the fact that you are a thought leader in your industry and that you wholeheartedly claim your place as a genius in your field. So I want you to just let that into your body, and notice for me, how does this feel in your body? How does this feel in your nervous system? Does it feel expansive, heart opening, or does it feel restrictive and like you want to hide, you want to curl your shoulders, your body language wants to shift to move into some sort of self-protection? So tuning into this, okay? And I want you, if you're here with me live, let me know. Like, first of all, notice, what are the emotions that come up? Is it excitement? Is it joy? Is it fear? Is it something else? And then what does it feel like in your body? What does that emotion feel like as a somatic response in your body? This is going to give you a lot of really powerful insight into where you are at in this journey to acclimating to big visibility. So you're most welcome to open your eyes and pop into the comments and let me know, Mona. I know you're here with me live. I think we might have a few other people as well. Let me know how that was for you, okay? And like noticing what happens in your mind, what thoughts kick in when you think about standing on the global stage, literally in front of millions upon millions of people, tuning into you, either live or through the internet or through the television, to hear you speak. What happens in your body? And to take it one step further, imagine you are interviewed by Oprah, and then you do an amazing job, and then you suddenly have thousands of people inquiring about your work, inquiring in how you can help them, because you've nailed your interview and you've spoken directly to your soulmate client, and you've spoken so clearly and so powerfully that these people are like, I need more of what you've got. Does your capacity, can you feel into whether or not you have the capacity to hold that? Or what would it feel like in your nervous system if suddenly you were to have 5,000 people inquire about your work? So these really powerful little like mini processes we can take ourselves through to tune in and check in, see like, okay, where is my system at? Where is my nervous system at? Where is my subconscious at on this growth to claiming big visibility? Because your mind might tell you that you're ready, your conscious mind or your heart might say, I'm so ready to take things to the next level. I'm so ready to claim my mission and what I do. But the nervous system, the body, the subconscious is not ready at all, right? And it will actively, that undercurrent, that like the unconscious, the subconscious belief systems will be so much more powerful than the conscious decision, right? Because it's rooted in the subconscious, and the subconscious has more brain power, much more brain power. The nervous system directly connected to the central nervous system, the nervous system directly connected to the subconscious mind is always going to overrule. So we need to look at this, okay? We need to look at visibility blocks. And this is the first place that I begin. So one of the best ways that I like to do this is through what I've been taught is called the vow of invisibility. Okay, so this is a vow. It's a third chakra vow, the solar plexus vow. And it's typically we take on a vow of invisibility at some point in our childhood. Not everyone has one, but at some point in our childhood, when we experienced either a big T trauma or a little T trauma, when it comes to us like being our fullest expression of who we are. So if you imagine a little girl and she's like she's preparing to put on a beautiful dance for her parents, right? And she tells her parents to sit down, and she does herself up, and she puts on the music, and she starts dancing, and she's in her fullest expression of joy, and her parents say whatever they say, that's shit. you need to do a better job, or we can't listen, we don't have time, you know, like you're fat, you're not a good dancer, whatever it is, right? And sometimes like that might be a big T trauma, but sometimes we can experience little T traumas, right? To the outside world, like why would that be a traumatic thing? But to the young child, it's a trauma, right? It's like death to the solar plexus that wants to shine like the unique sun that we all are. And so when this happens, we make a decision, a vow. It's not safe to be seen for who I really am. It's not safe to be seen. So I'm going to hide. I'm going to show the world someone a lot more appropriate, someone that I think the world wants me to be. And I'm going to kind of slide under the radar. Very, very common vow, third chakra vow. And I see this a lot when it comes to the online space, when it comes to working with particularly women, right? I used to have this, I had bright, big, I've spoken a lot about this in the past, bright, frizzy red hair, and I didn't know how to tame it. So it was really big and it was really frizzy. I stood the fuck out, and I was bullied a lot as a child in, like, you know, grade 3, 4, 5, 6. And as a result, I learned that it wasn't safe to shine, right? It wasn't safe to be fully seen in my uniqueness, in my bigness, in the bigness of my soul's expression. So I dimmed my light. I dimmed it all the way down. And then about 6 years ago, when I decided it was time for me to take my business out there, like, this is what I'm here to do. And I know what I'm supposed to do. I got to post on social media, and I got to show up. I got to go live. I've got to sell. I've got to promote myself. I've got to talk about my amazing products and services. I got to talk about how amazing I am. I'm going to help you change your life. That's what I thought. That's what I knew I needed to do. But could I do it? Absolutely not. I could not. I was stumped at every single roadblock, right? And there was a lot of roadblocks. Not only that, but there was these sneaky self-sabotage and sneaky like patterns, all stemming from my wounded inner child who needed to feel safe, and she didn't feel safe being seen. So what happened? She like cock blocked me at every single stage of the journey, right? Until I met an amazing mentor who supported me to heal this story and to heal this, what I call visibility block. So tuning in to see, first of all, if you have a vow of invisibility, if that feels like something that, you know, you can see the relevance to your personal journey there. This needs addressing if you're going to feel comfortable to claim your place as a global movement maker, building an international brand, the CEO of an international brand, right? You need to feel comfortable being seen, and not only just being seen, but being seen in your power, being seen in your fullest expression for who you are. And that's a whole other kettle of fish. So the second thing that we want to look at here is what's colloquially known in the online space, not just the online space, but in the healing space, as the witch wound. Okay, so integrating the witch wound is a very important thing to do. What is the witch wound? Well, if you think about it, 400, 500, 600, 700 years ago, if I was alive then with this hair, speaking what I speaking about what I talk about, you know, like publicly broadcasting the healing modalities that I have, I would be burned at the stake. 100% would. And potentially in past lives or in older generations, ancestors stemming right back, there actually was this actually happened, right? So whether we're talking like energetics or whether we're talking DNA, what's stored in your cellular memory, there's been a huge wound passed down through the female line around speaking your truth and speaking your uniqueness and speaking your power and speaking your kooky, essentially. That's how I used to look at it, like claiming your kookiness. So this is a very, very, very much a fifth chakra vow at the throat space. And so we often see this shut down, right? We see it's like not safe to speak up. It's not safe to claim my place. It's not safe to, you know, really like be seen for the uniqueness and the magic that I bring to the world. Integrating the witch wound is essential if you want to be absolutely safe, being visible on the global stage. So in Australia, we kind of have our own vernacular around this, and we call this the tall poppy syndrome. You might have heard of it if you are familiar with Australian vernacular. You might not if you are international. And essentially, like the tall poppies, the ones that like shine, like shoot to the top, we cut them down, right? We cut them right down. And over Christmas last year, I took my son to the Australia Zoo on the Sunshine Coast, the zoo that was once owned by Steve Irwin, like the famous crocodile hunter. He became like this international sensation. He was so popular. And in Australia, we decimated him because he was so big, he was so bold, he was so kooky, he was so different, right? And he really claimed who he was. We decimated him. We broke him down. We didn't break him down. We tried to break him down. This is a classic example of tall poppy syndrome in Australia, and is very deeply immersed and interconnected with the nervous system. This fear, if I shoot to the top, I'm going to be taken down. And I've actually heard some of my clients say, like, I'm afraid I'm going to be annihilated. Like actually using that word, like I'm going to be annihilated if I get seen in my uniqueness, if I'm seen in my fullest expression. So this can be very, very powerful. And it's a huge reason why we might actually sabotage, cock block our success, and say we want these things. Like, I want to be generating more money. I want to be having a bigger impact. I want to be doing more, but then just not doing it, right? It's all of these subtle, powerful reasons at the nervous system level and at the subconscious mind level. So does it feel safe to shine? I have some notes. So I'm gonna look to stay on track. Does it feel safe to shine? And the shining analogy is perfect for this, right? This is the third chakra. Like they often say in energetics, in the energetic medicine world, like the third chakra is like the sun. You know, when we are fully integrated in the third chakra and the solar plexus, we are safe to shine like the sun and to be seen in all our glory. It is totally safe to do that. And working through the belief systems to ensure that it is actually safe, and the conditioning to ensure that it is safe, it actually does feel safe for me to jump on live with you right now and share this stuff, shining and in my full magnetism. I tell you, a couple of years ago, it absolutely wasn't. And that's the power of doing this work at the body level, right? At the physical level, because magnetism and charisma are two incredibly powerful energies that rise up through the body, up through the central channel. And we cannot fake it. We cannot fake magnetism. You can't fake being magnetic. You can't fake being charismatic. And you'll know someone who's deeply embodied, who has done a lot of this nervous system and lower chakra healing, because they walk into the room and you feel them, you feel their presence. As soon as they walk into the room, it's like their presence precedes them. The energy of their aura is so palpable and so big that you feel them, you feel their presence. And I'm sure you might know someone who has this attribute. Magnetism is incredibly important, especially in the online space, right? But we don't want we don't want to be like, what can I do or say to be perceived as being magnetic? It's something that naturally oozes out of your system when you have done the work to feel safe to come back into the lower energy centers. So from a visibility perspective, being in your magnetism and being in your charisma is incredibly powerful, right? Because people feel your energy. And this is very true even for written content, right? As you're joining me, say hi. I think I saw Christy. Hi, Christy. Hi, Julie. I see a few people. Hi, Sandy. Your magnetism, your charisma, if you're wanting to be seen on a much bigger stage and claim your place, and not need to feel like you have to work so hard to claim your place, but to have your place be claimed by the presence that you bring, it's through actually surrendering into your uniqueness, right? Into your unique magnetism, into your unique charisma, and allowing yourself to be seen as being a little bit crazy or a little bit kooky or a little bit different or a little bit woo-woo or whatever it is. I know I've got one of my beautiful one-on-one clients here, Christy, here. And, you know, like Christy, I salute you, girlfriend, because you absolutely have claimed that about yourself, right? We've done a lot of work together around this. So being seen, allowing yourself to be visible, allowing yourself to shine, working through the visibility blocks to move from best kept secret to global movement maker. Step one, fucking essential. Okay. So we're going to move on to the second phase. Hi, Mary. I see you're here too. The second phase, right? We need to have a strategy. So what's your strategy for essentially like escaping your closet of invisibility onto the global stage? What's the strategy that you're employing? Hi. What's the strategy? You need a strategy, right? Otherwise, you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something sticks. And let me tell you, I've been in business for 12 years now, and I spent probably 3/4 of that throwing different strategies at the wall, hoping something sticks. It's been my MO for a very long time. And I know the impact that has, right? Because you get a little bit of traction and then you fall back and you're right back where you were before you started. And then you try a different strategy, but maybe you don't implement it to the fullest expression and then you fall back. And so it's this experience of gaining a little bit of traction and then going back to baseline, gaining a little bit of traction and falling back to baseline, which has a massive impact on the integrity upon which you speak and hold yourself in the world. So finding a strategy to be seen, a visibility strategy that you're willing to commit to, is such an important aspect of actually making this transition. So as we spoke about in the first step, you need to know, what is it that makes you unique? What is your unique point of difference? There might be many, many, many people out there who do the work that you do, right? Whether it's in energetic therapy or business coaching, or in my world, publishing. There's so many people who do similar work, coaching, mentoring. But what makes you unique? Hi, beautiful lady, Sarah says, please tell me if I'm saying your name right. Probably didn't. Need to go back and listen. I asked you to box it to me so that I could hear it, because it's such a unique spelling, and I think I butchered it. Anyway, hello, my love. What makes you different? What makes you unique? And you needing to know that, right? Like, this is my point of difference. This is what sets me apart. This is what makes me different to all of the other people in my world, or all of my colleagues, all of the people in this same industry. So I talk a lot about this, and about how the one most powerful thing that sets you so apart from everyone else out there in your industry, and it's free to use, is your story, right? There's lots of people who do the same work as you or similar work, but there's only one person who has your unique expression, your unique cellular makeup. Sirsha, thank you, Sirsha. Your unique expression, your unique makeup. There's only one person who has lived your life's experience and who has transitioned through all of the things and healed all of the things that you've been through, and come out the other end wiser for it, with incredible wisdom to share. So your story is a very powerful, free way that you can set yourself apart. But we need to know how to speak it, how to share it, how to write it in a way that actually does the brunt of the work. So I'm going to pop over to my notes here to make sure that I am on track. So I talk about this a lot as the golden thread, okay? The golden thread that connects the experiences you've had in your life, the traumas that you've gone through, the big ups and downs that you've transitioned through, with the transformational work that you facilitate now inside of your business, right? And so if you think of your life, I use this analogy a lot, your life is a tapestry, right? A beautiful tapestry woven together with thousands of threads, right? Thousands of different threads coming together to form a beautiful picture. If you pick one thread, right? If you could find one golden thread that connects an experience from your past with the work you do now, and you have so many threads. But if you cast your mind back over your life and you find the top 3 life-changing moments and life-changing experiences that you lived through, that you learned through, that you moved through, and you go, if you look back and you think, it was that thing in my life, that moment in time, that one of the moments that got me onto the journey I am now, that facilitated the transformation that I needed to have to do the work that I do now. And I have a number of these, and I talk about them quite a lot. You know, the first one is going to South America, like deciding I'm going to quit my international politics degree. I'm going to defer, wasn't even defer it, I'm pulling out. I don't want to be a politician. What am I doing studying international politics? And I'm going to travel to South America. Why? I don't know, because I felt like it, because my soul was telling me that that was what I needed to do. So I did that. Along the way, I went through a number of different powerful, life-changing experiences that got me on the healing path, right? That moved me into the work that I do now. Another story that I talk a lot about is, and so when I think about that particular thread, right, it's trusting your intuition, right? Learning how to take big action, even if you don't see the reason why, like that makes no sense. Why would I do that? Trusting your guidance, trusting your inner guidance, right? Being brave and courageous to say yes, even if it makes no sense. Leaping before knowing whether or not there's a safety net. That would be a golden thread that connects that experience with the work I do now. And so in my work, I support my clients to tap into their intuition, to learn how to say yes more, to, you know, take big leaps of faith, and take big leaps of faith from the place of desire, not from a place of desperation, right? So that's how I can connect that story with the work that I do now. Another experience I talk a lot about is, you know, when I was in the depths of postnatal depression, and it was like, you know, my bathroom floor moment where I was like, okay, make or break here. I'm going to either take myself, exit stage left, or I'm going to make the decision to stay in this life, in this body, and persevere. That moment, that experience was absolutely cataclysmic for my life, because I made the decision, I'm going to stay, I'm going to see this through. I'm going to heal. And that healing journey was everything for me, right? The work that I support my clients to do now is very, very much connected to that moment in time. I can hold a much deeper level of space holding as a result of being through that experience. So as you can see, the more you share your story, the more you bring people into your world, the more you help them to see how you think. Because in 9 times out of 10, your soulmate client is a few steps before you on a very similar journey. And so learning, when you share your story about how you transitioned, and it doesn't have to be traumatic either. You can share, like for me, another powerful life-changing moment was home birthing my second born 2 years ago next month in our living room, right? Powerful moment in my life, cataclysmic for me in my development. The power of like motherhood, right? And how it's been my greatest challenge, but how, you know, my motherhood journey and my mentorship journey is so very directly connected. So share your story, open up, pull back the veils, right? Let people see you. Especially in the online space, there's been a huge shift to happen in the last few months, where people are starting to see through all the facades, all the shitty bro tactics, the bro marketing tactics, we call it a lot, you know, like the sales from pain, yeah, marketing through pain, pushing all the pain points. We don't want that anymore, right? People have had 10 years of that and they're sick of it, especially in the female entrepreneurship space. There's been a massive awareness. It's prompted a lot of people, myself included, to go through this huge like identity crisis. Like, fuck, what do I stand for in the online space? Like, what's my mission? What's my values? You know, like, who am I in this world? It's been super powerful. And I wrote about it a few days ago on my page. And an identity crisis that has actually, it's an incredibly powerful place to be, right? Because we're in a place of redefining who we are. And so your ability to share that journey, to share your journey and your thought process, what you've learned and how you've taken that learning into the work you facilitate now, how your learnings have informed your mission, have informed your values, have informed who you are as a thought leader in your industry. Your ability to claim that publicly, verbally, or written in your content is everything, right? It's everything. And your ability to stand in the online space and claim the work you do, and the mission that you're here, and the movement that you are birthing, and like the community of people that you're rallying to your cause is everything. So that brings me to the next aspect of this, is like, you are a woman on a mission or a man on a mission, and the soul, like your soul's work, the work that you are here to facilitate is very deeply connected to your soul mission. What is that? What is your mission? What is the movement that you are the flag bearer of? And so the clearer you can communicate that and connect that to your story, connect that to the transformational work you facilitate, and connect that to the bigger picture. Like, why does the world need you? Why does the world, like, why do we want to listen to what you have to say? Why does your work and the transformational work you facilitate, like, why is it worthy of being on the on the global stage? What's the butterfly effect? that happens from the transformational work that you facilitate? How does this impact your client and your client's family and your client's children and your client's friends, and the beautiful, the butterfly effect, the Mexican wave almost of impact that your work has? And often we need to go multiple layers deeper to get to the real root of this, to make it for it to land in your readers or your listeners' body, for them to feel it in their heart. And so what we've seen in the online space lately is the impact of inauthentic marketing, and the impact of copycat marketing, and the impact of people just chucking shit out there simply for the sake of being seen and for the sake of visibility. And what I got to at the end of last year was I would prefer to just be silent and just watch and observe and listen than contribute to that noise. And the online space is incredibly noisy. So I went silent. I went in, I did my hermit time, right? I did my journaling, my writing. I went to the beach. I went into nature. I went to the waterfalls. I connected with my people upstairs. I spoke to my mentor. I, cried into Voxer. I laughed. I moved myself through my full emotional wave. And I came out the other end going, okay, I know what I need to say now. And I'm saying it from a space that is deeply embodied in my holy fucking yes, my mission, my movement, right? So what's that for you? Your ability to articulate that and to rally your people around you will help you in so many ways to actually be seen embodied safely on the global stage. So recognizing that as a leader of a movement, as a facilitator of a mission, there are people out there who are on the same page as you, who are buying into the same movement, right? Who are connected in. You probably have some soul connection, you likely do. And so speak to them and speak to them at their highest expression. Connect in with their energy of their soulmate blueprint, right? What is it that they really want you to say? What is it that they need you to say, right? And speak that, rally them around you, your community, your ability to gather community and to foster intimacy and transparency through sharing of yourself, through sharing your elegant vulnerability. I love that phrase, elegant vulnerability. So you're not just hanging out your dirty laundry, but you're sharing it elegantly. And a way you can do this is to kind of wait until you're out the other end. Yeah. And then look back through the lens of empowerment, rather than being in the embroiled thickness of it and going I've just got to spew this out to get it off my chest, right? People feel that. It feels yuck. It feels gross energetically. So wait till you're out the other end and then think back. What's the empowering lesson? What did I learn that I can share with my people? The great question that I always tell my authors to ask themselves and my clients to ask themselves is what's the purpose of me telling this story? Is it just to get something off my chest? Or is it to share a story, share a mission, share a moral? Is there a moral that I want to share? Right? So it's a great, great, great question. Okay. Claiming your genius, claiming your mission, and being willing to say, this is what I stand for. This is the movement that I am here to facilitate. All of this is powerful for anchoring your integrity of your voice and your ability to hold your presence. The more visibility you get, the more momentum you generate. You really want to be able to hold that, right? To hold the frequency of that. Otherwise, we collapse. And I've done this so many times, I can't even count. The first time this happened was after the first book that I ever co-authored and released it was 3 years ago last month. Sorry, 3 years ago earlier in this month. And it was a huge thing, right? We wrote this book, we published this book, we got it to bestseller. Oh my God, we got thousands of sales, holy shit. And then I Duna dived for a week. I watched Netflix for a week. I was like, I can't fucking deal with that. And then what happened, I felt really bad because I felt like I'd missed an amazing opportunity. So my mission as a publisher, as someone who now supports people to share their story in books that we get to bestseller status, is to ensure that your nervous system and your subconscious are fully online and fully integrated, so that when we get that book to bestseller, you are ready to leverage the fuck out of that momentum, right? And to fly with it. So important. Oh, hey, Adele, beautiful lady. I'm so deeply in this portal right now. I'm refining my mission, my message, my how, and how it's transmitting into the world. Authenticity is the most precious, and it is a massive message right now. Yeah. Thank you, darling. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. I so feel that. So as a leader in the industry, first of all, are you claiming leader in the industry, leader in your space? As a leader in your industry, what do you stand for? What is your journey? And what's the mission that you're on, right? Like I'm going to stake my flag in the ground here and call my people toward me. What is that, right? So I've given you quite a number of different things to think about. What I wanted to do now is share with you about my personal business, the publishing process, and how I use books to support my clients to shift from best kept secret to global movement maker, and why I believe collaborative books are such a beautiful, beautiful way. And I have a number of my authors on this call right now. You're welcome to share your experience in the comments, please. Thank you. Why I believe collaborative books and sharing your story, writing and sharing and leveraging your story is such a powerful way to be seen in your authority and to actually like step into a more potent place of inner authority and inner confidence, right? I used to talk like when I first started this publishing company, I was like, become a best-selling author, add best-selling author to your bio, you know, and now I see that as just the icing on the cake, because yes, it's incredibly powerful to be seen as a best-selling author and to have that level of positioning, right? But it's like that means nothing if you don't wholeheartedly believe in that identity yourself, right? If you haven't actually taken if you haven't alchemized the journey essentially and like integrated and embodied and made those essential identity shifts. Yes, I am a thought leader in my industry. Yes, I am a best-selling author and I claim my voice. Yes, I am the CEO of an international brand. These identity shifts are very important, and you need to, that happens first in you. People won't give to you that, right? You need to claim that for yourself. It's very different being in business than it is to having a career. Having a career, you get a promotion, you get a different title. You climb the corporate ladder, you get another title, right? And that gets given to you as you go for your promotion and you receive it. In business, we don't have promotions, right? We need to claim that for ourselves first. Yeah. You need to claim all of this for yourself first. And this is why I believe business is the best personal development program you can do, because at the same time, you get paid really fucking well and you get to live the life that you want, right? That's why I started business, because I wanted more flexibility to be with my children and to travel whilst my partner was overseas. So I did it. Amazing. So I love books. I am such a big believer in the power of books and in the power of sharing your story and becoming published in a collective to grow your business and to really like alchemize this journey, integrate this process. Why? Because books are, I'm going to show you one that I have right here, a tangible 3D expression of manifestation. Yeah. So what I love so much about this process is it's a beautiful way of embodying at the lower chakras what it means to manifest something, to birth something into reality. And I find in a lot of the online space, it's like that's left up to us, where it's like, okay, I might do this course where I might learn how to launch a program, but if I don't launch the program, well, then I don't launch the program. What I love so much about this collaborative book experience that I've and the framework that I've developed is that it's like you get to hold this, smell it, pass it on, share it with your people. It's a 3D thing. It's a baby. We wholeheartedly birth these, just like we birth our children. And so the power and beauty of doing this in a collective, right? Like 99% of the population say they want to be an author. Maybe not 99. I would say like 90, probably. 90% would say they would love to write a book. They would love to be an author, but how many people actually do it? Why? Because it brings up all of your shit. It brings up all of your conditioning. It brings up all of your traumas, everything we spoke about in the first part of this pop-up masterclass. And like, it's you against you, and it's you against your own inner stuff. what's so beautiful about doing this in collaboration with someone who's facilitating, who's done it many times before, is that you're guided through this journey of sharing your story, of identifying your mission, of like getting really clear on the work that you do and the mission and the movement that you're here to facilitate, like your white flag in the ground at this precise point in time, right? You get super clear on the chapter that you want to write, and you only have to write a chapter, 3,000 words, 4,000 words. It's like 8 pages in Word, right? It's not very much. And then we take care of the rest. But not only that, the collaborative experience means that you are connected with a group of a soul family that support not only the publishing process, but that you can plug into from a networking perspective. When I talk to all of my authors, the thing they say that's actually the most powerful thing about being a part of these books is the network, right? Like Shay, I interviewed Shay last week. You can scroll back down and watch the interview on my page. She sold out she booked out her coaching practice like 3 months in advance after this project wrapped up. And she said that was mainly through people in the summit booking in with her, but also other authors referring people to her because they got a taste of her genius. They got a taste of the magic that she is here to facilitate, right? So powerful. But not only that, I take you through this journey of, integrating the witch wound, healing the vow of invisibility, moving through creative writer's block, connecting with your book guide so that you can channel your chapter, so that you can channel your message and it's moving through you rather than coming from here. We go through this process all to do with story crafting and co-writing workshops where we come together and we spend time writing and then we spend time workshopping. It's really powerful to do this in collaboration. We build momentum collectively, and the momentum that we build together is gold for your business, right? I talk about momentum as it stands, as it's like a currency that once you have to earn it. And once you spend it, it's gone. You need to earn it back again, right? Momentum is like the wave that you ride, right? When you really learn how to leverage the momentum that we generate together as a group, everything changes. Everything changes in your business, right? Because you're in the slipstream. You become more magnetic. It's like the law of attraction activates, turns on, and suddenly you are magnetizing towards you the things that you desire, the people that you desire. You've made the identity shifts to be seen in that higher level expression of identity. Who am I? Who do I really want to be? What do I really stand for? Do I really want to take the global stage? If so, well, then what do I believe in? What do I want to talk about? Who do I want to be seen to be? It's such a powerful process. I can't even actually express how powerful a process it is. At the end of the day, it's about reclaiming your leadership or claiming your leadership if you need to claim it. And it's also about who you become through this publishing process, right? So I'm just so in love with the journey. It's just so in my heart. So what's the book that we are in the thick of promoting? The book is called Threshold: Stories of Initiation. There's a big energy behind this book, and we're calling in all sorts of practitioners and people who have stories of descending down into the threshold, like down under the threshold, into the inner world, the heroine's journey or the hero's journey, where they had to move through a big initiation, right, in order to step into the next level of embodiment and of identity that they are currently in now. There's a certain number of different practitioners that I'm absolutely looking to showcase. I'm looking to showcase birth doulas and death doulas. I'm so keen to have a death doula and a birth doula in this book to share their story of supporting people through the greatest transitions and initiations we will ever go through. If you have a story of transiting through a health crisis, of birth, death, and rebirth, of facing the demons and slaying the internal dragons, and often that shit ain't pretty, right? But at the other end, we reclaim our power, facing the shadow. And so if the work you do lies in the world of shadow work, of initiation, of supporting people to make big transitions through life, then we absolutely want to feature you as well. The power of this, like someone asked me the other day, like, where did this theme come from? And I shared, actually, I was playing with calling this book The Descent of Inanna, because the archetype, and I decided not to for various reasons, but the archetype that came through so strongly for this book is the goddess Inanna. If you know her journey of descending into the underworld, of being like coming face to face, of being stripped bare. It's an ancient Sumerian myth. She's stripped bare. She's made to remove all of her clothes. She's hung on a meat hook for 3 days as she's like trying to find her sister who's been taken into the underworld. And over those 3 days, like we call it often the meat hook moment, you know, where you're splayed open for nothing but God and the universe to see you in your rawest, most vulnerable, powerful place, because it is in that place that we often find the courage to take the next step. So this book, Threshold, is going to be a real North Star, right, for people who are going through their own initiations, and for people who are in the thick of, you know, those moments like where you feel like the rug has been pulled out from underneath you, right? Who am I now? Whole life collapses. The life you thought you knew collapses down around you. It doesn't have to be like a big traumatic story. However, you know, these big shifts in your life where you became someone, you embodied the next level of identity. So we're looking to feature these stories. And the power of this book, Threshold, is that we're going to be looking at your life as a mythology, right? If you have a look at the cover, you can see it's very mythological. Yeah, very mythological. We're looking at your life as mythology, your life as mythos. And so inside of that mythos, like, what are the archetypes? What are the different roles that were played? And how can you use that in your business to describe the work that you do and the transformation you help support your clients to experience? So the invitation is there. We kick off very soon. If you would love to share your story and make that shift from best kept secret to global movement maker, please, the invitation is to send me a PM and I will shoot you all of the information. I think Adele wrote here, writing my chapter was such a potent and precious journey. It was a deeply healing process of claiming my story and integrating all that had unfolded and getting really clear on what I am here to offer people. I also found my next mentors through the project that I'm currently still working with. So gratefully, you found 2. I know, it's so amazing. The blessings are still unraveling and I could not recommend it enough. Yeah, it's an incredibly powerful thing. Anyway, that concludes my little pop-up masterclass. I think it's actually been more like an hour and a half. Thank you for being with me, guys. Feel free to pop any questions into the comments. You're most welcome to DM me or, you know, shoot me a message and I'll share with you all of the information about Threshold. And if you feel called, the invitation is to honor the calling, and I would love to welcome you into this container. Have a beautiful Monday. Take care.